Greetings, fellow citizens of the planet Earth. So last night I had the opportunity to see the new Star Wars flick, The Last Jedi, Episode 8, if you're keeping count. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to start off with non-spoilers. So this is the non-spoilers part. I'll just tell you, it starts off a little bit slow, and there was a couple parts that dragged a little bit. But overall, I thought that they did a wonderful job keeping in tune with the Star Wars franchise and keeping the spirit of Star Wars going. I do understand why Mark Hamill was a little bit upset about his part as Luke Skywalker. I completely see what he's saying there. However, I also understand why the folks who made the movie decided to do what they did with his character. There's some incredible surprises that you probably will not guess. And it is absolutely a Star Wars movie. It is absolutely worth seeing. In my opinion, it still is not better than the originals. You know, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. It's still not better than them. But I did think it was better than Force Awakens. And out of the ones that Disney has released so far, I think it's the best Disney Star Wars. So if you hadn't had an opportunity to see it yet, I highly recommend going and check it out because it's very good. All right, now I am going to include spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to see any spoilers, hit the stop button now or turn it off now, okay? So here it comes. I'll give you 10 seconds to turn it off. You still haven't turned it off yet? Come on, you don't want to spoil it. You don't want to spoil it. Seriously. Turn it off. All right. So now that those of you who have not seen it yet are goners, I'll continue my review now, including spoilers. And the first thing I want to say for those of you who have seen the movie, I can't believe they killed Snoke. I can't believe they killed Snoke. Oh my God! Like, we never find out who the Snoke character is. On the one hand, I absolutely love the fact that they killed Snoke, mainly, number one, because nobody saw it coming. I mean, did you see that coming? I didn't see that coming. Nobody saw that coming. And so, you know, that was awesome that they surprised us like that. You know, Star Wars, I find, is at its best when it surprises us, and I like Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie, and a big part of the reason that it's my favorite Star Wars movie is the whole "I am your father" part. And the first time you saw that, you're like, "What? Vader's his father? Are you sure?" Like, and I remember that there was even, like maybe that was just a joke, or maybe Vader was just screwing around until then it's eventually confirmed in Return of the Jedi. And so them killing Snoke was a really gutsy move, and I'm kind of glad that they did it because it kind of fills out Kylo Ren's character a little bit. In Force Awakens, I kind of felt that Kylo Ren's character was a little bit weak. You know, he was like a Vader wannabe. You know, he had the mask, but he didn't really need the mask. Like, Vader wore the mask because he needed it, because he was so injured, right? Whereas Kylo Ren, he was just like a Vader wannabe. And so in the beginning of the movie, when Snoke is like, "Take off that ridiculous mask," I liked that. And I like how Snoke shocked him with the electricity and stuff. And you kind of saw the tension between Kylo Ren and Snoke, and you could kind of see Kylo Ren's like a different kind of evil than Vader. Like, Vader and the Emperor, I mean, they were evil, but they were more like, we want to control everything, and we want to dominate everything kind of evil. Whereas I felt like Kylo Ren's kind of evil is more of a chaos kind of evil, more of like a loose cannon kind of evil, and I liked that. I dug that he's got his own evil vibe, and he's not. In fact, I'm gonna say my favorite part of The Last Jedi is that it's not a copy. They finally didn't copy old Star Wars greatness. I mean, The Force Awakens was a great movie. I liked The Force Awakens. I thought it was a great movie. But there were just too many similarities to the original Star Wars. Star Killer Base being the Death Star, and Kylo Ren being the Vader wannabe, and Snoke being like a clone of the Emperor. And so I thought that the whole killing Snoke thing and letting Kylo Ren just be his loose cannon self and take over the First Order. I thought that was really cool. And also, something else that I thought was cool is that, again, back to The Force Awakens, how did this girl who just picked up a lightsaber, only recently, all of a sudden she's beating this badass Sith Lord or whatever he is, right? This, Kylo Ren. And I'm glad that they explained that. I'm glad that, like Luke says, he's only seen this much power one time before. And so you really see Rey has got like a lot of power. And I'm glad that they touched on that. And Rey is becoming a much more exciting character, on and on and on. And, at first, I was a little disappointed with Luke's performance in the beginning, but you know what? By the end of the movie, in fact, I loved Luke's part. I thought Luke's part throughout the whole movie was cool. I thought the way that he used the Force to project himself to whatever planet that was that they were on there, the red salt planet that they're on at the end. The way that he projected himself there and just totally baited Kylo Ren and used his chaos and his anger, against him. I thought that was really, really cool and stuff. The only part the part that I think that Mark Hamill was the most upset about, the part that he didn't like, or the part that I didn't like, was the way that Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker, at the end of the movie, he just died. And it almost kind of looked like he was tired and he fell asleep. And I felt like they could have just left it there and just not even said that he died. And then that would have opened the doors for them to make that decision with Episode 9. They could have still, in the beginning of Episode 9, they could have said, well, yeah, Luke suffered a stroke, and died or something like that. But to just throw it out there at the end, he's dead. And it was like, I didn't like that. That was kind of a slap in the face to Mark Hamill. And I almost kind of feel like Disney didn't like Mark Hamill. Maybe he was running his mouth a little too much, or maybe, he was too opinionated with his thoughts or something, and they just kind of decided to just get rid of him. I thought his acting was great. He was totally believable as Luke Skywalker. I thought his acting was great. And in continuation, I also thought that I liked Princess Leia's role. I'm glad that Carrie Fisher. I thought that it was for her last movie. I thought it was a great movie. I thought she portrayed Princess Leia very well, and I was very pleased with her performance. In retrospect, seeing as Carrie Fisher has gone to heaven, has passed away, I felt that it perhaps would have been honorable to give her some kind of an honorable death in the movie, and I almost feel like they maybe should have found a way to kill off Princess Leia and let Luke live on. But I think they'd finished making the movie before Carrie Fisher had passed on. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that in Episode 9. We still have no idea who Snoke is, and Star Wars needs to answer this. I mean, I understand he's dead and he's out of the way now, but they need to answer that. We did get some answers as to how, the whole schism between Kylo Ren and Luke and why Luke decided to become this suicidal hermit dude. And I get it, he feels like he's let down his friends and his family and the galaxy in general, really, because, Kylo Ren and those guys kind of were heavily responsible for starting the whole First Order and stuff. So I understand that, but... One thing that I'll say I thought that was a little unbelievable was the whole way that they handled the light speed thing. When the what are they called? Not the Rebellion, the Resistance spaceship was flying away from the First Order, and they had only 18 hours of fuel left, and and then Finn and the new girl that joined up with them decided to go run off and find that master code breaker, and they only had 18 hours to do it. And man, Star Wars has got some really fast ships, because I don't know if folks know, but I mean, the closest solar system, if you were to go at light speed, the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second, if you were to travel at that speed to the nearest solar system to us, it would take you 4.5 years. Okay, and so even if you can go faster than light speed, I mean, it's still going to take you at least a week. I mean, like the Enterprise from Star Trek, typically took about a week in between solar systems, and they traveled at warp speed, which is 500 to 1,000 times the speed of light. So man, I had no idea those Star Wars ships are really, really fast. I mean, if they can just cruise to some planet and be back in only 18 hours and stuff. Like, wow. I mean, it almost seems unbelievable, but I guess they would need to have that capability in order to traverse the whole galaxy. So it was kind of neat to get some numbers to kind of crunch the numbers and figure out just how fast do those Star Wars ships go. And boy, those babies are fast. So in conclusion, all in all, I'd have to say The Last Jedi is an honorable Star Wars flick. I'm very, very glad that I saw it. I can't wait to see it again. And I was excited, so I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. And I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. Go ahead and leave them below in the comments if you like. God bless you, and may the Force be with you.